Right, so this is factoring a quadratic by the AC method, which is also factoring by grouping. So the way that factoring by grouping works is we have the equation 12x squared plus 5x minus 2. So first we check to see if there's anything they have in common that we can factor out. And 2 and 5 are both prime numbers, and there's nothing that I can multiply 2, 5, and get 12, right? So I can't factor anything out of this equation. So I'm going to factor by grouping. And the way that I do that is I look for two numbers that multiply to this leading coefficient times this last number and add to the middle number. So I'm looking for two numbers, A and B, that multiply to 12 times -2 or -24 and add to 5. So if they're multiplying to a negative number, I'm going to have one positive and one negative number. So the way you want to do this is just start playing with factors of 24. So if I do, so since I'm going to have one positive and one negative number, they're going to subtract to 5. So if I do 1 and 24, those subtract to 23. If I do 2 and 12, those multiply to 24, those subtract to 10. If I do 3 and 8, those subtract to 5. -3, +8 will give me 5. So I'm going to replace this 5x here in the middle with -3x and 8x. So the way that I decide what goes where, I either have 12x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 2, or I want to rewrite it as 12x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 2. So I have to pick which one of these is the correct one. And the way that I know is that I need to be able to factor. Usually I need to be able to factor both pieces. So if I write it like this, although I can factor a 4 out of here, I can't factor anything here. So the correct grouping is going to be 12x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 2, this first one. Okay, because I could factor both halves of it, because then we're going to factor it by grouping these two pieces together. So the first part of the problem says to put these in. So I have 12x squared minus, so I want to go down to the one that says minus and then plus. So I want this one, minus let me type it in, 3. Reason it's not letting me type the answer in. Oh, I have to click that. Okay, minus 3x plus 8x minus 2, like that. And then to factor it, this is the second part. So here I can pull out a 3 and an x. So when I factor out 3x, I get 4x minus 1. And over here, I can factor out a 2. And when I factor out 2, I get 4x minus 1. And when we do this part, we should always end up with a factor in common. And then I can factor out the 4x minus 1. And I get 3x plus 2. So this is my answer. So when I factor this out in front, I get 3x and then I get 2, right? And if I took this back through, I'd get 3x times 4x minus 1 plus 2 times 4x minus 1. So that's why this factorization works. And then to put this into Alex, you put parentheses for x minus 1 and parentheses, 3x plus 2 and parentheses.